Kiev is apparently still refusing to accept the bodies of its fallen soldiers that Moscow has ready to be handed over. And Moscow has over 6,000 in total prepared in truck convoys and trains, but the Ukrainian side not even showing up to the exchange point.
In strict accordance with the agreements that were reached in Istanbul during the Russian-Ukrainian talks on June the 2nd, and in accordance with the schedule agreed with the Ukrainian side in Istanbul, the Russian side delivered the bodies of Ukrainian servicemen prepared for repatriation to the exchange area. This is the first batch. These are 1,212 bodies of Ukrainian servicemen. Many of them have been identified. Also, in about an hour, trains are starting to move, which also contain bodies of fallen Ukrainian troops to fulfill the promises of the Russian side that we made to the Ukrainians in Istanbul. Unfortunately, neither the day before yesterday nor yesterday, the Ukrainian side confirmed the acceptance of these bodies. I confirm that we are officially waiting. We're ready to return more than 6,000 bodies. This is a strictly humanitarian action, not the first, not the last. We, the Russian side, are absolutely ready to fulfill all agreements, both in the context of the return of the bodies of dead Ukrainian servicemen and in the context of the exchange of prisoners of war.
We're here in Russia's Bryansk region, where a number of the 6,000 bodies of fallen Ukrainian soldiers stuck in limbo are located. The Ukrainian authorities have yet to collect their bodies as part of their side of the agreement during the recent Istanbul negotiations. And Russia's top negotiator, Vladimir Medinsky, says that he's urging Kiev to give Ukrainian families a chance to have some closure with their loved ones.
Our representatives have arrived at the border, at the exchange point. However, unfortunately, we still do not understand why there are no representatives from the Ukrainian side present. No delegation and no lists. We once again urge our Ukrainian negotiators to strictly adhere to the agreements reached, as families back home are waiting for their sons and husbands. Thousands of families will have the opportunity to bury their fallen soldiers in a humane and Christian manner.
Along with these fallen soldiers, a number of prisoners of war are set to be exchanged as well, also part of the Istanbul negotiations. We spoke with a number of them who say that they feel that their government in Kiev has abandoned them.
We were surrounded. We had no choice. We surrendered. Our management said that if we surrender, they will exchange us first. Unfortunately, not the first one. We have been here for the 4th year, more precisely 1,150 days. We wish to return home, but we see that our government does not want to take us away at all.
Do you know that you were on the exchange list? Did they tell you that? What kind of feelings did it evoke?
Well, first, joy.
Of course, joy. But it's been a month, 2 months, 6 months, a year, and we're still here. We thought that maybe it was because we were in Mariupol, which is why they keep us here for so long. But in the end, it turns out, on the contrary, our country just doesn't want to take us away.
Have you just been informed that Ukraine has refused, Zelensky has refused the exchange?
Yes, they did. They talked about it.
What could you tell him? Why do you think that is?
Honestly, I don't know. I'm not good at politics. I also don't know why they made this decision. Honestly, I don't know.
How would you rate it?
Bad. I want to go home.
We realized that we were like cheese in a mousetrap. They turned us in just so that we could be like a bargaining chip, so to speak, and no one needs us. And they completely forgot about us.
So far, Kiev's not denying that it reached an agreement with Moscow on the exchange of POWs and fallen soldiers, but Kiev is saying that a date was never set, and it's trying to paint Russia out to be a bad negotiator. At the same time, though, it looks a lot more likely that Kiev's actually trying to get out of or delay the payment of death gratuities to Ukrainian families, with a number of Ukrainian officials saying that these families are only going to be able to claim compensation 3 years after the death certificate is received.
According to the minister's decree, the term is 3 years since the day of death. Taking into account the most recent changes in legislation, for unknown military personnel, there is no longer this period from the date of issue of the death certificate. For instance, a serviceman has been missing in action since June 2022, and his body was identified, for example, in 2025. And the death certificate was issued only now, in May, on May 10th. The term will be counted from May 10th of this year and will be counted for 3 years to declare your right to receive assistance.
Under current Ukrainian law, Kiev is supposed to give $350,000 to every family of each deceased soldier who died on the battlefield. And if we take that number and multiply it by the 6,000 Ukrainian troops that have died and are supposed to be collected by the Kiev regime, that adds up to a number over $2 billion worth. Makes you wonder what the relatives of these soldiers that gave their lives for the Kiev regime would think if they felt like they were being robbed or the memories of their family members disrespected.
And we want to prove that these Western regimes, including Ukraine, do not comply with any laws or agreements. They're always ready to continue the killing, but not to return their own soldiers. To betray the parents of the soldiers, so that they can continue to steal and lie to their own people and continue to kill people on both sides of the conflict. We have come to prove once again that the Kiev regime is only capable of killing, engaging in genocide, engaging in murder, engaging in war. Relatives of those people will be very sad to know that Kiev is refusing to give them back their loved ones. Relatives of those people need to be compensated for losing their loved ones. But the government in Ukraine only cares about getting money and not giving back to its people. They want to avoid paying out compensation so that the elite in Kiev and the West can pocket it and engage in more war.